Thomas Bond was born in Maryland, and since there were no domestic schools or hospitals in which to serve an internship, he studied in France, England, and Scotland at medical schools affiliated with hospitals, where these experiences taught him the value of hospital care for the sick. Upon returning to Philadelphia to practice, he sought funding from friends to support the building of a hospital, but made little progress until he enlisted the help of Benjamin Franklin, who believed in the project and wrote about the proposal in newspapers, ultimately proposing a bill before the Assembly which passed in May 1751, leading to the admission of the first patients in 1756. In 1788, a distinguished Frenchman, Monsieur de Warville, visited the hospital and reported it to be superior to most hospitals he had seen in France, noting its cleanliness and the integration of black and white patients in the same wards. And although it was not the first hospital in the American colonies, it is recognized as the oldest surviving institution for the care of the sick in the United States. Meanwhile, in 1762, William Shippen, Jr., having returned to Philadelphia from studying anatomy under John Hunter in England, placed an announcement in the Pennsylvania Gazette offering courses in anatomical lectures, initially attracting just 10 students, but over the following years enrollment surged to as high as 200. During the War of 1812, William Beaumont served as a surgeon in the U.S. Army, and in 1822 he treated a young man with a bullet wound to the stomach, successfully managing the treatment despite the flesh never healing completely, which allowed Dr. Beaumont to use the open area as a laboratory to study the action of the stomach, ultimately contributing to our understanding of the digestive process. Simultaneously, Ephraim McDowell, an American physician who had studied at the renowned University of Edinburgh and practiced in Kentucky, performed a groundbreaking operation in the early 1800s by removing a large ovarian tumor from a patient who would have otherwise died, despite local skepticism branding him a murderer. Yet his successful surgery allowed the patient to live for many more years, although McDowell's remarkable achievement went unrecognized until later. While Beaumont and McDowell practiced medicine during a time when the causes of infection were not understood, resulting in many patients succumbing to blood poisoning or gangrene, Walter Reed, a major in the U.S. Army serving in Cuba, recognized the urgent need to uncover the cause of yellow fever and sought volunteers willing to contract the disease, knowing that their contributions would remain largely unremembered, as his essential work ultimately led to the eradication of yellow fever and enabled the construction of the Panama Canal. Similarly, in 1949, Dr. Jonas Salk and a dedicated team of researchers at Harvard Medical School successfully isolated the poliovirus after determining it thrived in human intestines and spread through water and food. And by April of 1954, Dr. Salk commenced massive vaccine trials that successfully protected 130,000 children in America by the end of that summer. Jonas Salk, recognized for his groundbreaking work in immunology, passionately outlined his research on the polio virus in front of fellow medical professionals and researchers who listened intently as he shared his findings that would ultimately lead to the creation of a life-saving vaccine. This innovative solution brought immense joy and relief to countless families across America, as demonstrated by the cheerful laughter of children playing outside, many of whom proudly showed off Band-Aids on their arms after receiving the polio vaccine, symbolizing a newfound hope and protection against a once-dreaded disease. In 18th century Philadelphia, the streets were alive with activity as residents went about their daily lives, while banners proudly proclaimed the opening of a new hospital that promised to change the landscape of medical care in the city. Amidst this vibrant atmosphere, Benjamin Franklin tirelessly worked at his printing press, surrounded by piles of newspapers that he meticulously crafted to highlight and advocate for pivotal medical advancements, reflecting his commitment to improving public health and fostering a sense of community awareness. The early American hospital stood resolutely, its weathered wooden exterior a testament to the tireless efforts of those within, as patients were carried in on stretchers and welcomed by dedicated nurses ready to provide care. Inside, the atmosphere was electric with knowledge as William Shippen, Jr. addressed a captivated audience of doctors and medical students in a lecture hall, passionately demonstrating vital anatomical techniques using a combination of models and illustrated diagrams, marking a significant turning point in medical education and practice. In the dimly lit and sterile environment of his medical practice, William Beaumont leaned over a sample from his patient with utmost precision, his keen eyes scanning the data while surrounded by an array of surgical instruments and detailed notes filled with his observations, pushing the boundaries of medical science. Meanwhile, Ephraim McDowell stood resolutely in his historical operating room, preparing for a groundbreaking surgery, acutely aware of the anxious family members gathered outside, their faces reflecting a blend of hope and trepidation as they awaited news of a procedure that could change everything.